Good morning, everyone. So today we're going to talk about how communications enable innovation and how can we move from smart to autonomous. Actually, the previous speaker set the scene about what's smart and what's autonomous. 10. Seems that 10 is the magical number. 10 trillion USD dollars the next 10 years. That is the forecast for 2035 on what is the market for autonomous systems. So industry, it's moving towards autonomy. Right now, we are smart. Everyone has a smart solution. But we have to move towards the next level, autonomous. And the market says, go ahead, 10 trillion US dollars worldwide for the next 10 years. So where are going to be those 10 trillion invested? Basically, we are going to see in what is already happening. We already see that there's autonomous vehicles. Whenever we talk about autonomous, the first thing that crosses our mind is autonomous vehicles. Oh yeah, Tesla. Oh, in China, all these robo taxis. So we think about autonomous. That's true. That's the already foreseen, known area of autonomy. But as you can see in the yellow part, there are other verticals that are going to go towards autonomy. So to talk about autonomy, it's not only to talk about autonomous vehicles. That's the easy example. But all your industries, all your verticals will end up moving towards autonomy. So, but this talk is about going from smart to autonomous and using 6G. What does smart mean? And actually, what does autonomous mean? It's so easy to use buzzwords, but actually it's important to better understand, better define it before we discuss about them. So the Oxford English Dictionary has these definitions about smart and autonomous. Smart, set of a device which is programmed so it's capable to do some independent actions, tasks. Some independent tasks. Autonomous, denotating or performing a device performing without direct human control. Smart, okay, they can do something something faster, something programmed in a semi-autonomous way. Semi-autonomous, it's truly without human intervention. Has to be ultra smart. Our previous speaker, I think he also used this figure. It's the easiest way to talk about smart and autonomy. It's the usual example because the mobility world, the automotive world, were the first ones to move towards autonomy. So a smart process, it's like in our vehicles. We have sensors, we have information that some tasks can be smartly done. For instance, collision avoidance. We have sensors in our vehicles, and they tell us the distance, and they help us to stop and not to hit something. There's still human behind the wheel, but we have these smart systems. Now, moving towards autonomous, an autonomous vehicle in the future, it's truly autonomous. You sit there, you read, you don't interact with the vehicle, you have some sort of supervision, because Anyway, you are on top of that, taking a look, but you are not acting actively on it. That's the difference between something smart that help us, sensors, data, help us with information to perform some task. And autonomous, it's that, voila, it runs. That is basically the difference between autonomous and smart. I'm going to use a lot of examples on mobility. That's the easy example because it's the most advanced field for autonomous. But nevertheless, in all verticals, in all industries, we have autonomy. An example of manufacturing, predictive maintenance. We have a lot of sensors on the factory floor, and these sensors gave us data. They are sensing data. With data comes information, and with information we take informed decisions. So there is still someone that takes the decisions. The engineer on the floor receives the data and it says, oh, based on the hours running in this device and the whatever data that this sensor is giving me, we better stop that machine and we better make maintenance. That's the engineer. So human in the loop taking a decision. That's a smart factory. But what about an autonomous factory? An autonomous factory, it's going to be the whole floor basically having same thing, sensors, data, information, but it's going to be in the whole chain. And what will happen? When a machine needs to be stopped for maintenance, the system itself, it's going to take care of that maintenance. How? With another machines. Then it comes the robots. Robots, the robotic part of the industry is going to hit hard in the future. Even if my vertical and my business are healthcare, at the end, if I move towards autonomy, I'm going to end up with some sort of autonomous robot. Software robot, as our previous speaker said, or a physical robot going there and with precision doing the repairments. Another example, let's talk in logistics, transport logistics and supply chain. Route optimization, that's smart. Right now, it's smart, everyone is doing it. You analyze the best path to deliver something, you take a road, you take the information, and then the driver drives at the end of the day. This is a smart process. It's done by a human, or there's a human in the loop, but we get information to take these smart processes. So autonomous will be different. We will have way more sensors, way more information, and imagine combining the information coming from the port, coming from the from the traffic department, combining weather information. So all this data in the system, it's going to help us it's going to take us an autonomous decision on don't ship this cargo because you are going to be late. This is not going to arrive. So you better reroute this, or we optimize a different process. Don't do A, do B, and I will do. And actually, the system will tell to do it automatically. You need connectivity. We are going to arrive there. I know this talk is about 6G. Okay, we are with 5G, but what is he going to talk about 6G and processes? Let me arrive there. But we are still talking about smart and autonomous. Healthcare, same thing. We have seen an example of a smart process from the previous speaker, that in healthcare you could have sensors. With those sensors you get information, and then this information gets reported. Remote patient monitoring. A pump monitors your blood and the sugar in your blood. This information goes to the doctor and or goes to you, and then you act. There's a human in the loop. Future, it's going to be on autonomous systems. Imagine an autonomous system in healthcare that's going to take the same smart information, combine it with more smart information, and it's going to take actions by itself. It's going to automatically send an ambulance to pick you because it knows that you are going to have glucose high shock, and automatically the system reacts or acts in advance. Why? Because it's autonomous. So we can have autonomy in many industries. It's not only about factory floors, and it's not about only connected vehicles, and it's not only about Elon Musk. It's about your own industries moving from just being smart to being autonomous. So what does 6G have to do with this? If you look at the innovation cycles, as you can see, the innovation cycles have been driven by the technology during those years. I'm sorry, no, I don't have a laser here. So if you can see, the different technologies open up a world of innovation. And right now, we are in the sixth wave where everything is digitalized and we have digital networks. So connectivity, we take it for granted. For us, connectivity, it's just paying our provider and having a connected device. But if you stop and analyze, your business is running and depending on connectivity. No matter what you are doing, you need to be connected. And this is the new era where connectivity, it's an enabler and it's driving your business. Even if your business is in food, in healthcare, in any of your fields, connectivity, it's present. It's transparent. It's not even appreciated, but it's absolutely needed. And right now we are in 5G. So why am I talking about 6G if we are still discovering the benefits of 5G? As you can see, look at the levels of autonomy. Moving from smart to autonomous, it also requires connectivity. At this moment, we are connecting the smart devices, the smart processes with 5G. And your units at your companies are analyzing, shall we move towards 5G? That's the question that you have in the back of your mind. But while you move from smart to autonomous, you are also moving to the next generation of communications. So we are moving to advanced 5G, we're moving to 6G. In a bit, I'm going to tell you what is 6G. And actually, we're moving also to intelligence. As the previous speaker wrap up his talk talking about machine learning and intelligence, it's certainly something that's going to hit your company, and you have to be prepared for that. Intelligence is coming with 6G. It's a marriage between AI and 6G. As I was mentioning, everything in your processes are connected. Look at it. Whatever your business is, it's connected. It's our nature to be distributed and to be connected. Anything you do, it's distributed and connected. Distributed because you have a value chain and the processes are distributed with different formats in different places with different companies. They need to be connected at the end of the day to run your business from A to Z. It's distributed and it's connected. So connectivity matters. But as I mentioned at the beginning, you're going to talk about 6G. Is 5G does still work? Is it worth it? Why are you talking about 6G while we are just starting to enjoy the benefits of 5G? Well, let me tell you the following. I use this slide a lot in many of my talks because I really like to remember that we moved from the first generation, which was a mobile phone, wireless, to up to the fifth generation. But what has happened? That the first generation was only voice. You couldn't walk with the phone. You couldn't go to your office talking because connectivity was not designed to that. First thing was to be wireless, only wireless on the first generation. The second we start looking into digital solutions. You know, the SMS, the text, that small thing changed the world because it was the first time that we had digital solutions, um, data flying through our voice networks. Instead of sending voice, we start sending data. SMSs changed the world. That's where the world changed with the small SMS. Third generation, we started having applications. We started having games, applications. Fourth generation, more data. So we moved from voice, first generation, to data, data, fourth generation, more data. Now I want to see my Netflix. And then it came fifth generation. But fifth generation says, okay, it's more data, as usual, but also it's faster, and it's also capable to connect more devices. So 5G opened the world from moving just to data, 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 to still data, 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 really, really fast, low latencies that enable new industries, and actually to connect so many things from the same network. So the Internet of Things connected via 5G. That's what 5G brought to us. Basically, 5G did the internal spider web. It's how 4G was behaving. 5G said, okay, it's going to be even faster. The latency, the technical term latency. So we are going to have less latency. It means our networks are going to be faster. We're going to have more data. We're to have more coverage. So this is what 5G did, and this is what 5G is trying to deliver. It's going step by step, and partially these things are being delivered today. So today it's 5G. Smart is with 5G. Autonomous will be with 6G. What are we doing smartly right now? This is what we're doing right now with 5G. These examples are easy. It's mobility, as I mentioned before, and this is what my team in Imec has been doing it with companies in Flanders. We have been developing telecommunications, 5G telecommunications, in order to enable smart vehicles. I didn't say autonomous, I said smart vehicles with smart vessels. The previous presenter talked about a vessel. Welcome to the technology behind that vessel, connected with the smart processes. This is a couple of photos of how we are connecting. There's a lot of technology connecting to 5G and making autonomous vessels. I will say semi-supervised vessels, because these vessels are not fully autonomous yet. They can be autonomous, but there are still things to move forward. More examples on how we have been doing this. We have been connecting vehicles, removing the driver from the vehicle, having teleoperated drivers from an office to trucks, to vessels, to cranes operating at the port. And this is what we are doing right now in a smart way in the port of Antwerp as Imec and other company partners. We are being able to teleoperate trucks to have the truck driver in an office and with a button changing from truck to truck. They drive, they park and wait for the cargo. They click another button, they start driving a different truck. Same thing with the vessels, that they arrive without a captain. The captain is in an office and it arrives. That's 5G. This is, for instance, how the driver in an office is driving this vehicle that it's remote. It's going to park, it's going to press a button, and it's going to start driving that small car later. Those are the things that we are doing it. But, okay, let me move to the final part of the talk, 6G. Why are we talking about 6G? We're talking 6G because 6G is the next generation. It's not yet on production, it's on research. So as a researcher, Imec, as a research center, as a leading research center in Belgium, has the responsibility to explore what's coming in the future. And 6G, it's already been discussed, already been tested at labs, not in commercial products. But what 6G is doing it, and this figure will tell better, it's basically 4G was certain performance and 5G stretched the performance. Now 6G, it's doing even more. And there's something that I like about 6G, latencies, speed. It's not only about more data as usual, but now it's becoming to be faster and faster and faster. That faster, in technical terms, it's latency. So we move from 10 milliseconds that something goes from my phone to the network. In 4G, it was 10 milliseconds flying. In 5G was 1 millisecond, and in 6G is exactly 0.1 milliseconds. Just like when you have your eyes shut, data cross from one point to another. That is what 6G. That's the best example that I want to say about 6G. If you bring faster connectivity, you can have faster processes in your vertical. So it's not only about being faster, but I love that capability. It's about being smart. So 6G, it's bringing AI by default. Our previous speaker talked about AI to move towards autonomous, moving from smart to autonomous. I'm reinforcing that message. You need to be connected. And the 6G connectivity is also bringing merit to artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence and connectivity, they work together. So connected intelligence, it's a given in 6G. It has to be programmable. It means that the 6G networks, we are going to be able, through a software layer, tell network reconfigure, network change your behavior. We are going to be able to tell in our factory floor or in our processes, in our vertical, to say reconfigure, and now we need to go faster, slower, depending on the needs of your system. And it's going to be autonomous. If your system knows the whole process, they are going to take a combined decision with AI, with machine learning, and it's going to say, okay, we slow down this process because there's a bottleneck here. Until this bottleneck here gets up to speed, we are not going to keep producing this, and we are going to deliver that. So it's an overview from all the processes at the same time, because they are smart, sensors, data, they are programmable. Another thing that's important here, they are going to be sustainable. 6G wants to be consume less energy than 5G. That's important. So in your factory, when you have 6G, you are not going to be spending more energy on your communications. That's absolutely good for the environment and for your wallet. Another thing important to consider is that 6G automatically uses the following: edge computing. So it's not about the communication flying over the air. It's about the data flying over there really fast, getting in an edge computing process, be computed there, move to the next point, aggregate it, and take very smart decisions, ultra smart decisions, to be autonomous. How are we going to use the network? It comes not only the usual phone that we have and we are connected to our provider, but also comes satellite communication. And this is something that we are looking into it. That 6G, it's about connecting everything, and you have one service, one single service that uses no matter what is available. Your operator, if your operator cannot go through optical fiber, will go through satellite, and everything, it's transparent for you. That's 6G. It's aggregating a lot of services that are transparent for your business. Your business just pays the bill for 6G connectivity. So to wrap up, let me show you what are going to be the future use cases. The European Commission, in the project called EXA2, which we are part, defines, it's a giant project in Europe with so many industrial and research partners, defining what's going to be the future of 6G in Europe. How's going to be the technology, and how are going to be the use cases. For instance, there's going to be a lot of immersive reality. Your factory floor or your regular processes at your company, they are going to be augmented by giving more information, and actually the headsets Well, not the big ones as we imagine, but now glasses like this, they have augmented information all over the place. So your workers, your personnel is going to have here all the information and also the guidance to operate things. That's one of the use cases. Here it's all these technical numbers mean really, really, really fast. That's 6G, really fast in combination with smart, with edge computing, with all the previous things on my slide. But it's speed. Another use case, it's cooperated mobile robots. As I mentioned before, robots are going to be software robots or hardware robots are going to be part of your autonomous processes in your company. It's going to be a bot or a robot. And 6G is already exploring what are the requirements, the precise location, how your robot physically is going to do something millimetrically precise. Then the mobility is going to be improved, mobility in general, multiple sources of information, the vessels, the trucks, the particular cars, the private cars, public transport, all of that combined through 6G, we are going to have better information for our services. And finally, digital twins. Digital twins are basically the simulation of our real processes in a digital world. With 6G, we are going to get real data tested in our software industry, software-based digital twin, and the results of this simulation are going to be extrapolated to our real process. So if some configuration does not provide you benefits, will not be mapped into real world. And there are activities all over the world right now. In Belgium, we have this activity. It's Belgica. It's a project that Imec is leading. So here in Belgium, we have 6G solutions. Research-wise, we are not yet commercially ready. I would say 15 years from today. And finally, let me talk about Imec. At Imec, we are exploring not only 5G, but also 6G. My particular team, ID Lab, it's looking into connectivity applied to smart mobility, smart cities. I'm the head of connectivity of the Smart City of Antwerp and the Smart Highway, where we test solutions there. And we are doing smart industries. Imec, as a neutral research center, offers support to companies to explore how 5G, 6G, artificial intelligence, and so many other products can be of benefit for your company. We are already preparing Flanders for autonomous mobility. We have major projects running with the government. And as a matter of fact, as you can see, we have the President Minister teledriving one of these trucks, as I was mentioning, teleoperated trucks. So, are we there yet? Let me finish the presentation with this news. No, we are not there yet. If you see, 6G is just going into the hype curve. 5G, it's coming from the hype to become a stable reality. So at this moment, today, 5G is your solution. Go for it. You want to be prepared for the future? Think that in 10, 15 years, 6G is going to be a must for your autonomous industry or to your industry to go autonomous. So thank you very much for your time. 5G is here, 6G will come here. I'm Johan, happy to serve you later having a talk.